Jobber Wrestling Corner Flashback, Episode 4, WCW. Now, I'm sure some of you may be aware of this, but a while back, Jobber Wrestling Corner wasn't called Jobber Wrestling Corner. It started out as Phantom Night Wrestling Corner. So, as a bit of a flashback, we're going to be bringing back some of these older ones. Don't know if we're going to be bringing all of them over yet or not, because we tried a few, what we called reviews, where we did commentary and review some pay-per-views. We did normal reviews, and then we just did some discussions, which we hope to continue again in future Jobber Wrestling Corners. So, take a peek at some of these old ones, and hell, some of them might be outdated, some of them you might agree with, in which case, enjoy.
Hey guys, I know you're about to get your podcast on, so I'll be quick. If at any time you feel like dropping your own opinion into what we're talking about, head on over to fandomnight.com, and all of the contact information for every single one of our shows, including the one you're about to watch, is there. Alright guys, I'll leave you alone.
Welcome to Fandom Night Wrestling Corner, where the $1 million dream was the American dream.
Wow. Anyway.
Okay, introductions.
I'm so sorry, O Level, and I disapprove of that message.
Yeah, sorry. That's why I had
File!
to come
File!
up with this
File the joke.
Scott Action Jackson.
Oh, God.
I came up with something, so...
Yeah, I know.
And, yeah, this is Fandom Night Wrestling Corner, and we're going to be discussing WCW. Extreme Championship... Or not...
Wow, you're going to the other episode, bro.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, World Championship Wrestling. Which kind of started out as the NWA.
Yep.
But then got changed over, I think, during Turner's reign or beginning reign of the company.
Yeah.
And Seth doesn't really have that much...
I don't have much granular knowledge of it. Now, don't get me wrong. If you start bringing up, the wrestlers and that, I'm not 100% on what they were doing over in WCW. Because, again, much like my video game fandom, when it came down to it, I was always a Nintendo fanboy. Now, when it come down to, Xbox, I had enough of my friends who were playing Xbox that I could talk some stuff about it, but not granularly. And I never really owned a PlayStation. I only knew of, a handful of games. So, like I said, when it comes down to that, I can talk, but not much. So, let's get into the fact that this man just tried a body slam and failed.
Yeah, we're also watching an old
slam,
WCW pay-per-view. I think it's Wrestle War 1992, where it had a Sting Squadron against the Dangerous Alliance as the main event. Now, of course, when you bring up WCW, you do bring up the Stinger.
Yep.
The Icon, the... whatever else you want to call him. When Sting first started in WCW, he had the whole flat top.
Yeah, he had the flat top.
He's more like the surfer type of person.
Yep.
And then from then on, he, kind of like The Undertaker, had some changes.
Yeah.
He at some point had his hair grow out normally, the brown grow out.
Yeah, he let his natural grow through instead of dyeing it. At the same time, was he always painting his face? But
he was always painting his face because he learned it from the Warrior.
Yep.
And then when the whole NWO thing happened, that's when he backed away and became the Crow Sting.
Yeah, he became Crow Sting, which is more iconic than any of the other Stings.
Until he joined the Wolfpack and then became Red Crow Sting.
Well, yeah. And then he became Red Crow, and then, of course, once
he went back to Crow Sting.
Yeah, he went back to Crow. Then if we jump him into TNA, which I know that's not what we're talking,
it's still the same type of Sting.
It's Crow Sting, but at the same time, he has, some of the red on him. But then I've noticed that sometimes in there he was doing the actual color splotches with it too.
Yeah,
he was trying to fuse himself together like Taker did.
At some point in TNA, Sting tried a Joker type thing.
Yeah,
tried.
But anyway, moving along.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I'm too busy watching this.
But WCW had its fair share of moments as well, as just like ECW did, just like WWE, WWF did. Most notably, Stinger is involved with a lot of these moments, including like this pay-per-view that we're showing right here, with the War Games '92, with Sting's squadron against the Dangerous Alliance, which was the Dangerous Alliance did have Stunning Steve Austin in it, along with Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, Ravishing Rick Rude, I think.
Oh no! Off the top, boom.
And on Sting's side, you had Stinger, you had the Natural Dustin Rhodes.
Oh yeah.
Who most people know in the WWE, WWF as Gold Dust.
Yep.
Nikita Koloff, not to be confused with Nikolai.
Yep.
Oh, never mind that.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to watch it, and it buffed for a second. And I was like, what just happened?
But most of WCW's history does involve around the Stinger with his many feuds that he's had, even with Ric Flair.
Yep.
And then Ric Flair's also had some feuds with Ricky Steamboat in WCW as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been so many great tag teams that were also involved with WCW as well. I mean, at one point they had a pay-per-view that was focused on a tag team tournament.
Yep.
And that right there has got to be impressive. Now, also with WCW, you had some weird pay-per-views, weird matches as well, like a Halloween Havoc.
Mm-hmm.
At one point they had this Chamber of Horrors match, which didn't exactly turn out that well.
Yeah.
I think at one point it did involve Cactus Jack, Abdullah the Butcher.
Yep.
I think the ending involved Abdullah being put into a electric chair, and the switch that was supposed to go off kind of went off beforehand.
Nice.
Because it already fell down. Yeah. But the type of cage that they used for that Chamber of Horror matches was also used previously called the Thundercade match. But this cage itself did also mirror what they did with Hell in a Cell.
Yep.
Now, a few of the more...
Which always couldn't be as bad as the Punjabi prison. Anyway. I know, I'm bringing up bad memories.
If you want to bring up bad memories, look at that Kennel from Hell match.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, moving along.
I mean, one of the more famous Thundercade type matches involved the Stinger teaming with Ric Flair against Terry Funk and the Great Muta. And that one,
boom!
The decision was decided by the enforcers by throwing in a towel. Which did take a while for them to actually get to the finish.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say, sadly, that's how a lot of matches end up being. It's supposed to go one way, something happens, like what is it? The Eddie Guerrero match, where he was supposed to climb the ladder and get the belt. Back when he was I can't remember who he was fighting against, but I think it was back when Eddie was a heel.
Was he against RVD?
It might have been. I don't know. All I remember was it was a little while before he died, but he was supposed to win a match. So he goes to climb up the ladder, and a fan literally jumps the barricade, slides into the ring, and fucking pushes over the ladder like, nope, you ain't winning this, fuck you.
It probably was RVD then.
And security quite literally had to come in and whip his ass. And because it was supposed to be the end of the match, they were like, what the fuck? What just happened? What's going on? And they were like, fan just kind of showed up. Like, the ref is like walking around talking to him like, a fan just walked in and threw his ass out. Okay, well then I guess we have to go back to 5 minutes ago and try to rework it from 5 minutes ago, because that's as far up as I remember. Type of thing. And you quite literally saw like a repeat of, almost a dead repeat of the match from there. Because they lost their place. Uh-oh.
Now, with WCW, we mentioned this in the ECW stuff. Some of their guys went over here to There I go again.
In ECW, we had a bunch of people go to not only WWF at the time, but WCW.
Including Chris Jericho.
Jericho went, Benoit went,
Malenko
went,
Eddie.
Yep.
And around the time, Rey Mysterio got involved too, and there was a lot of great classic matches there involving the Cruiserweight title.
I was about to say, and that was also, was that masked or unmasked Mysterio? Because I can't remember.
Masked.
Was it?
It was during his mask times because
because he was masked, then he ends up coming back like unmasked.
Well, the reason
and then
that's another one of the moments in ECW or in
I remember
WCW.
that. It's one of those things where it's like
the reason Rey Mysterio was unmasked because I think he was part of a tag match. If his team lost, he had to unmask, and his team lost, so he had to unmask on a pay-per-view.
Yep.
And then he later on became part of this Filthy Animals thing.
Yep. Yep, because I remember, that's one of the few things I do remember, because I remember watching something where he's literally running around, and he didn't have gauges, but they were like heavy earrings in his fucking ear type of thing. I was like, who the fuck is this guy, and why does he look so weird? And it was my buddy Britt again, because he's been watching since he was young. Like, they quite literally, they used to tape. He has VHS tapes of every single pay-per-view. Ever. All of them. Oh, I know you got DVDs.
Yeah,
He has VHS copies of WrestleMania 1 through now. He has VHS copies of, like, every Royal Rumble, Backlash. I'm pretty sure he has a VHS copy of this. Like,
I used to have just about all the old stuff, so...
Oh, yeah.
Whether it was an actual one that I purchased or one that I, like, recorded.
Yeah. But yeah, he has copies of almost every single one of them because he used to go over to his grandma's house. She would buy the pay-per-views and they would sit and watch. And oh man, it was always so funny going over there. his grandma's place, like quite literally, the bedroom was about as big as the living room was about as big as the bedroom that we're in. Only it had like a couch and a chair, and then of course you'd walk through the one door and that'd be the kitchen. And then you walk down the hallway and there's a couple more bedrooms. But, like, it was always funny. Because she would be sitting there being like, you damn son of a bitch, get up. It's, oh, God, those are always the best. Anyway, WCW.
Going back to, back to the Cruiserweight stuff. That was part of the Monday Night War that was going on. That WCW started with Monday Nitro. That actually first took place inside of a mall. Yeah.
Wow.
And the very first episode that took place inside of a mall that kind of started the Monday Night War, they also regained Lex Luger.
Mm-hmm.
And also part of this Monday Night War, eventually Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and then the whole NWO thing started.
Yep.
And the whole NWO was an excellent idea, one that I think in some of the DVD stuff that they talk about, the idea came from something that happened in Japan, a storyline in Japan, where it had like the new age against the old age.
Yep.
And the NWO idea was great and did catch on real fast.
Oh yeah.
Until the NWO itself was a bit watered down by too many people.
Yep, exactly. Because I was about to say, because I remember being in grade school and seeing everybody running around with NWO shirts, and that was, you see Hollywood Hogan and everything, and you're like, what the hell are you talking about? What's going on?
At one point, there's about 20 people with NWO shirts.
Uh-huh.
And then they also had an actual branch that was in Japan, too.
Nice.
Yeah. But after a while, the NWO kind of died off, and then they tried bringing it back again with like this, well, they went through the whole Wolfpack NWO.
Yep.
They even had the Cruiserweights do an LWO, a Latino World Order.
I think I remember that, because I think that was about the time, because it was Unmasked Ray Ray, and I think he was wearing like one of them stupid fuzzy hat things. And it's him and it's Eddie, and they're standing there talking, and they had somebody else with them. And I think, because that was one of the few times I tried to watch, because then that's when they had like some of the off-brand Juggalo wrestlers hanging out with oh god, what's his name? Like Vampiro and that.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the few things I saw, because I remember I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
But during that time also, the NWO also tried to get another branding of like a silver NWO. This one did have Hogan, Jeff Jarrett, I think Nash Hall, but it had some other ones in it. But they tried to redo it again and it didn't really work that well.
I can believe that.
And then it started leaking into this whole where the WCW was dying off.
Yeah, which was right about the time that I started watching it then, because I remember Jarrett coming out, and I think he was wearing like a black and silver cape thing. I think. Like I said, I don't remember. It was that fucking long ago. But I think he come out wearing like a black and silver thing, and he had the guitar, and he come down like in the middle of somebody cutting a promo or something, and he's got his guitar, and he's talking shit, and you know, the dude kind of like turns around like, well, and turns back to an El Kabong. Like,
yeah, Jeff Jarrett did that a lot during then. He just hit people in the head with his guitar. And
sorry, I just had a thought I gotta tell you off air.
And also during this time, WCW had a pay-per-view, which is now a little more infamous than the WWF's Over the Edge.
Mm-hmm.
And that was called WCW Sin. Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, tried to jump off the second rope, not the top rope, second rope, and tried to do a big boot, landed on his other foot, and it broke.
Damn.
Yeah. And around this time this was happening, it was like a weird 6-man scramble match. And the last guy was being brought out to the ring.
So he literally breaks his foot as the last man showing up.
Yeah, and then they had to do the finish right there.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, you could see stuff like that could be why WCW was kind of dying off. WCW had some good ideas that worked, and they had a lot of bad ideas.
Well, yeah, but that's everybody. I mean, let's see, WWE's had their fucking share of bad ideas.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, ECW had their share of bad ideas. Hell, the local guys have had their share of bad ideas. But even so, when it comes down to like the local guys, you're a little bit more forgiving. When it came down to like ECW and the fact that they were like semi-pro, yeah, that's a little bit more understanding. You know what I mean? Not as much, but a little bit more. When it come down to these guys were the fucking juggernauts. When they fuck up that bad, there's nothing to it other than they fucked up that bad.
Yeah, I mean,
and you just kind of start booing them and going elsewhere.
Even like some of the more recent, well, not current, but more recent, like WWE shows, when they actually effed up, you hear the fans chanting, "You effed up, you effed up." They were doing that stuff even with ECW.
What was it? It was Christian had joined in TNA. This is one of the like biggest moments I remember. Christian joined up in TNA. He's fighting Steiner. He tripped and barely bumped into Steiner. Like he went to go to hit him and like tripped over his own feet or something. Barely hit Steiner, and Steiner jumped forward like 15 feet and slammed his face into the ring. It was like, oh God. And I was like, dude, you are fucking overselling it. Like, that was one of those things where when it came down to, like, us yarding, like me and my friends, I never oversold anything. Never. Like, there was one time I was working at my grade school. Like, I ended up going to Norwood Grade School. I was working there as a janitor over the summer. And I ended up, they had like a bunch of like UPS shipping tubes and random crap that they were throwing away. I asked them, I was like, this is all garbage. Can I just take it? And they were like, yeah, sure. So I took it with me. So there's like boxes, cardboard packing peanuts, you know, random like styrofoam pieces, the UPS shipping tubes. There's all kinds of crap. Well, the UPS shipping tubes, we realized that if you took off the one end and blew into it, because it was like a giant tube, like maybe like 1.5 times the size of like a Pringles can, which was essentially no more than like a poster holder type of thing. But if you blew off the other end, it would actually fire off and make like a type of noise. Well, in one of the matches, one of my buddies ends up shooting it off in my face, and I literally walked through it. Meanwhile, my buddy Craig is behind the camera, like manning the camera, doing the commentary, and he was like, "Oh my God, he just walks right through it!" And I like stop and look at the camera, and I'm like, "It's a fucking piece of plastic he fired at my head. Like, no, that's nothing." If he hits me with the tube, I might go down. And sure enough, I turn in time to get hit with a sign that, quite literally, it was an old DARE sign that they were throwing away, the DARE, the
DARE program.
Anti-drug thing, yeah. So we had that, and I turn around to get hit with the sign, and I, like, stumble for a second.
A bit of a technical issue there.
Yeah, slight technical problem there. So if it sounds really weird, where was I? I was in the middle of my story, where my buddy shoots the UPS shipping thing at me. But anyway, so it hits me, and of course I end up, I kind of look at the camera where my buddy is, he's not only doing the recording, but he's also doing, like, the color commentary. And he's like, oh my god, he walked right through it! And, like, I just kind of, like, stopped and looked at him and shook my head and turned around to get hit with a DARE sign. Which, the DARE, the drug thing, whatever. But anyway, so I get hit with it and he goes, like I'm supposed to fall over, and I'm still kind of standing there bracing myself against, like, a tree or no. We used to wrestle at the pavilion over in Bartonville. So I'm, like, braced myself up against it, and he goes to pick up the sign again to hit me, and I was like, nope, fuck that, and fell over dead. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that where if you're gonna, like, screw around, like, okay, that's cool, but if something actually ends up happening, no. Like, there was one match that I was involved in where I ended up throwing a 2x4 at a dude's leg. I think it was my buddy Britt, actually. I threw a 2x4 at the back of his leg, and we quite literally had to end the match there because I hit him in the back of the leg, and he couldn't walk right. So I hit him with the choke slam, but I didn't cushion the blow all that well. So I literally just kind of choke slammed him into the ground, actually, like, force shoved him down, and he got the wind knocked out of him. So we were like, yep, we're done with that. And I had to go back and be like, dude, I'm sorry, dude, I'm sorry, dude, I'm sorry, dude, I'm sorry. But when it comes down to that, where, he breaks his own foot before the match has even started, and they can't just be like, well, either work through the pain or let me act like I'm, giving you an ankle lock of some sort, like was it not a clover leaf, the spinning toe hold.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about? Like do up a couple of those and act like you broke your foot that way, type of thing. Like I'll do them really weak, but just be like, I broke my shit. And, we'll just haul you out and turn it into, like, just a 5-man, 5-way dance type of thing. Or, a 2-on-3 tag or something, Just literally scream out, I broke my foot, and we'll just continue on from there. And anytime it's supposed to be your turn to be up, me and the other dude will take turns doing your part of it.
Now, with some bad ideas that WCW did, besides, I guess, continue that match after Sid broke his leg.
Yeah.
There's also... Let's see, people have discussed the Shockmaster. It was in WWE, WWF, there was a superstar named Tugboat. Typhoon.
Sounds slightly familiar.
He got brought over. He was supposed to be the Shockmaster who was supposed to team up with Sting and the British Bulldog to fight against Big Van Vader and Sid Vicious, Justice.
Okay.
And when he got introduced, he kind of tripped and his helmet fell off and rolled.
Nice.
And...
Wow.
Yeah. And then he just picked up the helmet and just continued looking buff and menacing.
Trying to act like nothing happened.
Yeah. Apparently, when they previously rehearsed that part, there was like a piece of wood that wasn't there before.
So he couldn't see through the helmet.
Yeah.
So he thought he was cleared and ended up, nope.
And the weird thing is the helmet was a kind of a stormtrooper helmet that was glittered.
Nice.
And I guess another horrible idea WCW did was David Arquette as their world champion.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But that come from the movie. That they tried to make the movie like actual legit canon type of thing.
Yeah, that didn't go over well.
Yeah, of course it did.
I mean, the only time that really kind of went over well was when WWF brought Zeus in. That was about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can believe that. Because usually them working in celebrities, it never goes over. Like, there's only been a handful of times where it's gone over. Like, Stone Cold and Tyson, which worked out, but only barely.
What about Pete Rose's beatdown streak.
Yeah, there was that. Look, a cage.
Actually, this is going to bring up another one. The best things that WCW did. The War Games.
Yep.
The 2 rings, the cages that came over them.
Yep.
It was kind of like... Yeah, here's
War
the rules
game
right
rules.
here.
7 periods in the War Games. First period, 5 minutes. All other 2.
Here.
1 man from each team during the first period. After first period ends, head ref flips a coin.
Winning team sends in a second man. Most of the time when they did this, it was always the bad guys who won the toss.
Yeah.
After
2-on-1 period ends, another team sends in the second man, making it 2-on-2.
Yeah. And then they keep doing that off and on until all the members in there, in which case it becomes the match beyond or something like that. Then the full games is fully in effect, and then they can finally have a full decision and ending. So
yeah. After third period, teams which won coin tosses send its third man. Okay.
Yeah, like I said. Yeah, the whole 2 cages next to each other, 2 rings,
blah blah. Okay.
Yeah, it was a great idea that they had. I mean,
until all 10 men are in. Holy crap! So this was like a 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit. That sounds a little bit like in TNA when they used to do the
Lethal Lockdown.
Well, not only Lethal Lockdown, but
that's what this is from.
I can believe that. But no, back when they used to do the
it was surrender
the
or submit.
Crosswire. You know what I mean? When they put the belt out on the middle of the wire and you had to like climb across the wire.
Oh no, that was something else. That was Ultimate X.
Yeah, that's it. The Ultimate X. But it sounds kind of like that with Ultimate X, where you could quite literally have like 12 guys competing to get the fucking title.
They were.
You know, like, like they were
Some
literally
did some
like...
crazy bumps, too.
Here's half the roster. Everybody get the fuck out to the ring. Get that belt. Which then they've, had fuck-ups where, like, the belt didn't stay up there and it came unglued and somebody quite literally grabbed it and they were like...
You know what?
No, restart the match.
You know what? I just realized something. We could go into a TNA discussion.
Yes, we could.
We could.
But I can only talk early TNA, because again, that was around the time that I quit watching.
So, what about we leave this up to the fans? If the fans want us to actually continue this on into a TNA discussion, we can do that. So until then, let's do the whole
contact
info.
Contact information.
Oh, the website. The website.
Go to exactly. That's what I was about to do. You go to fandomnight.com, FANDOMKNIGHT.com.
Fandomnight.com.
Anyway, so yeah, you go there. It has links to everything. Our YouTube page, Facebook group page,
the podcast,
the podcast, the RSS feed, everybody's YouTube, everybody's
contact info.
Yes. What the group looks like, all us ugly mugs, and there's something the fuck else on there, and I can't remember. I guess our webmaster has actually been
doing updates,
rearranging.
And stuff. Yeah.
Anytime anything comes out, he'll leave it up for like 3 days. After 3 days, it's on the chopping block to be removed for anything else that's coming up.
Also depends on how much stuff gets
released.
Yeah,
it also depends on how much stuff gets released as well. Which I know Bill got pissed off at me the other day when I was like, why don't we sit on shit? And he's like, we got 6 motherfuckers posting, how are we supposed to sit? And I was like, we all, nobody publishes and we leave it up to one person to publish it. It's like, but we still got 6 people fucking doing everything. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
So, that'll wrap it up for this WCW discussion, and who knows, we might go into TNA one.
Yeah, who knows?
Yep.
Hey guys, did you like that podcast? If so, remember to check out fandomnight.com. At fandomnight.com, you can drop a line to this show, or you could check out other podcasts as well. We cover all kinds of topics, everything from comic books, wrestling, movies, TV shows, video games, animes, mangas. It's outrageous. We seem to have a podcast for just about everything, and you have access to it just by going over to fandomnight.com. So Check it out, guys. We're going to get out of here.